Welcome back to my YouTube channel Rare American Coins, where we take you on a journey into the fascinating world of United States coinage. Today, we dive deep into one of the most iconic and often overlooked pieces of American history, the Jefferson nickel, and more specifically the 1968 Jefferson nickel, which holds a special place in the hearts of collectors, historians, and numismatists alike. This video will take you through the origin, evolution, design, minting process, rarity, and value of the 1968 Jefferson nickel in a way that will both educate and inspire, whether you are a beginner collector or a seasoned expert in numismatics. This comprehensive look will give you the insight you need to fully understand the legacy and importance of the Jefferson nickel series and why the 1968 version stands out among them all. Our journey begins in the early years of the 20th century during the Great Depression and the presidency of Franklin D. Roosevelt, in an era when coins not only served as currency but as symbols of national identity. Prior to the Jefferson nickel, the United States used the Buffalo nickel, which featured a Native American on the obverse and an American bison on the reverse. The Buffalo nickel was a beloved design, but it proved difficult to strike and its dies wore out quickly, leading to issues at the mint and among the public. By 1938, the U.S. Mint decided to replace the Buffalo nickel with a new design, one that would commemorate the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, a founding father, principal, author of the Declaration of Independence, and a symbol of American democracy. The Mint launched a design competition for the new nickel, and the winner was sculptor Felix Schlag, whose design featured a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous home Monticello on the reverse. Schlag's original design was slightly modified before production, and in 1938, the Jefferson nickel officially entered circulation. The coin was produced in nickel-copper alloy and retained the same specifications as its predecessor, weighing 5 grams with a diameter of 21.2 millimeters. The Jefferson nickel has gone through various changes over the decades, and the 1968 nickel came at a very pivotal time in American history. During the 1960s, the United States Mint underwent major changes in response to rising metal costs, increased demand for coinage, and coin hoarding. During the early 1960s, the silver crisis pushed the mint to remove silver from dimes, quarters, and half dollars in 1965, replacing them with clad compositions. While nickels remained in their traditional alloy, the pressures of mass production and changing technology also affected how and where coins were minted. The year 1968 marks an especially interesting chapter in Jefferson nickel history for several reasons. First, it was the first year since World War II that proof coins were once again struck in San Francisco after a pause in proof coin production from 1965 to 1967. In those years, the U.S. Mint issued special mint sets instead of proof sets, and no mint marks were used on circulating coins from 1965 through 1967. This was part of the Mint's effort to discourage hoarding and speculation, so when mint marks returned in 1968, collectors and the general public were thrilled to see these identifiers again on their coins. In 1968, Jefferson nickels were struck at 3 mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. However, only the Denver and San Francisco facilities produced nickels with mint marks. The San Francisco Mint produced proof coins with an S mint mark, while the Denver Mint produced circulation strike coins with an S mint mark, while the Denver Mint produced circulation strike coins with a D mint mark. Philadelphia produced circulation nickels, but they bore no mint mark that year, as was customary until 1980, when the P mint mark began to appear on nickels. Let us now turn our focus to the 1968 proof Jefferson nickel. These coins were specially struck for collectors using polished dies and plankets to create mirror-like fields and frosted devices, resulting in beautiful cameo and deep cameo examples. The mintage for the 1968 proof nickel was approximately 3,041,500 100, and whether a proof coin is classified as cameo or deep cameo depends on the strength of contrast between the frosted portrait and the shiny fields. Some of the most valuable 1968S nickels are those that display strong deep cameo surfaces and are graded PR69DCAM or higher by top-tier grading services such as PCGS and NGC. On the other hand, the 1968D nickel is another significant piece for collectors. While it was struck for circulation, its condition rarity and strike quality vary considerably. Millions were made at the Denver Mint in 1968, but finding one in high grade, especially in mint state 67 or higher, is very difficult. This makes high-grade examples exceptionally desirable to collectors. Even though the mintage was over 91 million, the majority of these coins circulated heavily and suffered nicks, dings, and wear, making pristine examples a challenge to locate. Beyond strike quality, another factor that makes the 1968 nickels intriguing is the presence of errors and varieties. Some well-known error types include off-center strikes, clipped plankets, double dies, die cracks, and full steps. Examples: full steps refer to the clearly defined horizontal lines on the steps of Monticello on the reverse of the coin for a nickel to qualify. As full steps, all 5 or 6 steps must be complete and unbroken under magnification. This designation adds significant value to any Jefferson nickel, including the 1968 issues, and full steps 1968D nickels are particularly scarce in high grade, leading to auction prices that can reach hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the condition. Adding to the collector appeal is the historical backdrop of 1968 itself. This was a year of major social and political upheaval in the United States. The Vietnam War protests were raging, civil rights movements were at their height, and to major American leaders, Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert F. Kennedy, were tragically assassinated. Coins produced during such turbulent times often carry extra significance to collectors who value them not only as numismatic items but also as cultural artifacts representing the struggles and transformations of the era. Another important aspect of the 1968 Jefferson nickel lies in its role in bridging the early and modern eras of American coinage. In the years that followed, the Mint began experimenting with new finished designs and commemorative issues, eventually leading to the westward journey nickels of the early 2000s, which temporarily replaced the Monticello reverse with designs depicting the Lewis and Clark expedition. But through all these changes, the original Jefferson design was restored and remains in use today, albeit with an updated obverse portrait introduced in 2006 by artist Jamie Franke based on a life mask of Jefferson. As we continue to study and collect 1968 Jefferson nickels, it is important to recognize how they fit within the broader numismatic narrative. They represent the return of mint marks, the reintroduction of proof coinage at the San Francisco Mint, and they are part of a period where the U.S. Mint was adapting to economic pressures, technological innovations, and changing public expectations. They are both abundant and rare, common in circulation, but exceptional in high grade or with specific die varieties. Their appeal lies in the journey they have taken from mint to pocket to collection, and their story is still being written by collectors and researchers across the country. To conclude this historical overview, the 1968 Jefferson nickel is not just a 5-cent piece, it is a symbol of mid-century American coinage, of the artistry of Felix Schlag, of the legacy of Thomas Jefferson, and of the resilience of the United States Mint during a period of great change. Whether you are searching through pocket change, investing in graded examples, or exploring proof sets, the 1968 Jefferson nickel offers a world of discovery and potential value, and I hope this deep dive into its history has brought you new appreciation for one of America's most iconic coins. Thank you for joining me today on this journey through rare American coins. If you found this content informative, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment about your own discoveries with Jefferson Nichols. Stay tuned for more numismatic content right here on Rare American Coins.